Good morning, everyone, dear teachers and friends. Today we are tuning in as science nerds and we have some exclusive reports on marine pollution that we would like to share with you. Coming in today with the report is the science nerds including Mahen, Isira, Sachira, Janitu, Isuri, Pavani, Vagisha, Januti and Savan. Okay, Vagisha, starting from you, let's continue with our presentation.
Thank you, Ravija. The Sri Lankan ecosystem is exceptional when it comes to the marine life in other areas of the world due to the great biodiversity available in our ocean bodies. This perfect ecosystem is a great gift given to our country by the nature. This natural gift is being constantly overestimated by the people, not only by the locals but also by the global people. This is due to the massive idea of power of nature being overestimated. So, to give us some more information about marine pollution and its sources, we have Savani and Isira to introduce you about the reports of the causes.
Thank you, Vagisha. Marine pollution is a combination of chemicals and trash, most of which comes from land sources and is washed or blown into the ocean. This pollution results in damage to the environment, to the health of all organisms, and to economic structures worldwide. Ocean water covers more than 70% of the earth, and only in the recent decades have we begun to understand how humans impact the watery habitat. Marine pollution, as distinct from the overall water pollution, is mainly caused by the human-created products that enter the ocean. Before 1972, humans around the world spewed trash, sewage sludge, and chemical, industrial, and radioactive wastes into the ocean with impunity. Millions of tons of heavy metals and chemical contaminants, along with thousands of containers of radioactive waste, were purposely thrown into the ocean. Many pollutants sink to the ocean's depths or float far away to the distances from their original source, where they are consumed by small marine organisms and then later gets introduced into the global food chain. Marine pollution encompasses many types of pollution that disrupt the marine ecosystem, including chemical, light, noise, and plastic pollution. Recently, a cargo ship carrying chemicals caught fire off the coast of Sri Lanka, leaving in its wake an environmental disaster that the island will likely have to live with for decades. This terrible disaster happened in the month of May 2021. For days, it stood burning off the Sri Lankan coast, emitting plumes of thick dark smoke that could be seen from miles away. But the express pearl has now fallen silent, lying half sunken off the coast of Sri Lanka, its hull resting on the shallow ocean bed. It is said that plastic can take between 500 to 1,000 years to decompose and is likely to be carried by ocean currents to shores all around Sri Lanka and even to beaches hundreds of kilometers away from the shipwreck. With skyrocketing plastic production, low levels of recycling, and poor waste management, between 4 to 12 million metric tons of plastic enter the ocean each year, enough to cover every foot of coastline on the planet. And that amount is projected to triple in the next 20 years. Everyone can do something to help solve the plastic pollution problem, and millions of people worldwide are already taking action to reduce their plastic use. Here are 7 ways you can make a difference starting today by reducing your use of single-use plastics, by recycling properly, by participating in a beach or river cleanup, supporting banks, avoiding products containing microbeads. Before going to our next points, let's watch a simple video about the marine pollution. Okay, now Isira is with you to bring you the rising issues and the paths to destruction.
Thank you, Savani. So today, ladies and gentlemen, okay, we are back on the topic. So the ocean pollution has become a rising issue in the whole world, resulting the most dangerous disasters for the arrival. So simply, here are some results of the ocean pollution, which we are going to discuss lengthily in later. So first one, the pollutants reach humans at the end. And the second one, the marine beings and the animals lose their lifestyle. So third one, as you know, the global warming. And the fourth, the destruction of the natural ecosystem. And fifth one, the non-stop disposal of waste to the ocean can take place. So the ocean, as well as the marine ecosystem, can be polluted majorly in four ways. So allow me to explain the main points that cause the marine pollution. So the first one is the eutrophication. So the eutrophication, an excess amount of chemical nutrients, so mainly the nitrates and phosphates in the water, leads to the eutrophication, which decreases the level of oxygen in water. And this process eventually reduces the quality of water and makes the water inhabitable for fish, except affects the breeding process within the marine life. And so the second one is the acidification. The acidification, so due to the rising level of the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, even though the oceans act as a natural reservoir for absorbing carbon dioxide, the oceans in the world are becoming more acidic, which leads to the acidification of oceans. But there is a strong concern that acidification might lead to the dissolution of calcium carbonate structures that can affect the shell formation in shellfish and also the corals. So the third one is the toxins. So the toxins as well as the pesticides, DDT, PCBs, furans, TBT, and radioactive wastes, phenols, and dioxins that do not get dissolved or disintegrate within marine ecosystem can accumulate in the tissue cells of the marine life forms and lead to the bioaccumulation, hampering the underwater and sometimes leading to the mutation in the aquatic life forms. As you know, the plastics, the final one is the plastics. The plastics dumped and found in the ocean are dangerous for marine life, forms, and wildlife, as sometimes it strangles and chokes them to the death. So the rising levels of plastic dumps found in the oceans are suffocating, digesting, and entangling the life underwater, as well as the above. So these are the four major ways, as I talked about the points that can cause the marine pollution. So, well, let's move to the other topic.
Thank you, Isira, for the report you have shared with us. Thus, the approach to the marine pollution and its methods were explained in depth by him. We hope that you all acknowledged yourselves about it. Furthermore, there are many more ways of marine pollution, and oil spills are one major ways of it. So, there are three major oil spills in the world history, and to explain about them, Ravija is now on the line.
Thank you, Abhisha. When we look at the topic of oil spills that have taken place over the history, there are three main such oil spills, such as the Gulf oil spill, Deep Horizon oil spill, and Stockton oil spill. Among them, the Gulf oil spill is the world's largest oil spill. It was caused as a result of war. In January 1991, Iraq forces began dumping oil into Persian Gulf. And as a result of it, estimates from the Pentagon on the volume spoiled over around 11 million US barrels. An initial study in 1993 found that the spill will not have long-term environmental consequences, but many studies since 1991 have concluded the opposite, claiming that the spill is responsible for environmental damage, coastline sediments, marine species, and ecosystems. Secondly, we talk about the Deepwater Horizon oil spill. It is the largest oil spill among the petroleum oil industry. On April 20th of 2010, the concrete cap cracked and natural gas shot up the rig to the platform. The explosion killed 11 men, caused the rig sink, and started catastrophic oil leak from the well. Approximately 134 million gallons of oil had spilled into the Gulf. It's the largest offshore oil spill in US history. It caused 17.2 billion in environmental damage to Gulf of Mexico within 3 months. 53,000 barrels of oil were spilled, and it resulted in killing 82,000 birds, 25,900 marine animals, 6,000 sea turtles, and many fish. Cleanup workers treated the oil with over 1.4 million gallons of various chemical dispersions. 2 to 4% of oil was recovered by using steaming. After as much as possible, oil was removed by steamers. Workers used sorbents to mop up the trace amounts left behind. Finally, the stock one oil spill. The cause for this oil spill was the circulation of drilling much to the west. It failed, causing blowout, explosion, and fire that took place on June 1979. The blowout preventer failed to work correctly when Mexican petroleum operators tried to activate it. This oil spill lasted for 10 months, inflicting a lot damage, including 140 million gallons of oil spill. Pollution of considerable part of the offshore region in the Gulf of Mexico as well as much of the coastal zone took place as well. A considerable percentage of stock one crude oil was either evaporated or sunk into the seafloor. Other remained oil were washed ashore in adjacent coastal areas and on US beaches. 12% was biodegraded and 7% were burned or directly recovered at the site. It took more than 9 months to stop the leak and had to spend $100 million to clean up the spill. Thank you.
Let's thank Ravija for that detailed explanation on the three major oil spills of the world history. And now we can take a close example of infamous Express Pearl shipwreck. This was in spotlight since it caused a big damage to our coastal area. And without wasting any more time, I'll let Janitu to explain about this.
Yes, Vagisa. As you say, we can take a close look at the Express Pearl shipwreck as an example. As far as we know, the ship sank on May 20th in 2021. Of course, we know the whole world talk about that incident, and the Express Pearl feeders took all the responsibility for this incident as they owned the ship. After the damage was caused, everything related to the ocean was severely affected, and expressed fear that the hundreds of tons of oil in the ship's tanks would destroy nearby marine life and shores. And for the destination of the ship, it was deployed on the strait to the Middle East from Clam Port located in Malaysia via Singapore and Jebel Ali in Dubai, UAE to the Hamad port in Qatar. And the return voyage was supposed to go from Hasira, India and Colombo in Sri Lanka. Then we'll have a look at the reason that caused this calamity. The Express Pearl shipwreck was along with other shipwrecks in the Gulf of Mexico and Dulan Strait in Malaysia. But the fire was too strong to be taken down, and the swirling winds didn't help either. Many of the ship's 1486 containers tumbled into the sea before the huge blaze was put out earlier. The most long-lasting impact likely to affect countries for decades is chemical pollution. Among the most dangerous elements on board the ship are nitric acid, sodium dioxide, copper, lead, and etc. Because of these chemicals, small fish might be die quickly as a result of poison. As for the bigger fishes, the toxins will slowly accumulate within their bodies because of these eating smaller ones. And so we saw the beautiful turtles dying and the marine life deteriorating. They were really important marine animals to Sri Lanka. While there have been shipwrecks before, Sri Lanka has never faced one such a poisonous cargo, and as a country, we weren't well prepared for a tough job like this. As expected, the government estimated the damage was caused to the coastal areas, marine animals, ocean structures, corals, and fined the Express Feeders Company over $40 million. So finally, let me end my part by saying the biggest hope is that this disaster will at least be a valuable lesson to prevent another one. You can also get a more clear idea about the Express Pearl shipwreck from the below video. I quoted this video from the British Broadcasting Corporation YouTube presentative. Thank you.
A cargo ship carrying chemicals is sinking off the coast of Sri Lanka, sparking fears of an environmental disaster. The Express Pearl had been on fire for almost a fortnight before the blaze was put out this week. Hundreds of tons of oil from fuel tanks could well leak into the sea, devastating nearby marine health. Tanya Dendrinos has more.
A pristine coastline and a looming environmental disaster. The Express Pearl has been ablaze for 2 weeks, and despite the efforts of the Sri Lankan and Indian navies, it's sinking.
There are two possibilities. Either all the fuel has caught fire or the oil could still be there. If the oil is still there, we've already taken precautionary steps to handle that situation in case there is a leak.
On Wednesday, attempts were made to tow the vessel to deeper waters to minimise marine pollution, but attempts were later abandoned. Beaches along the west coast have been littered with debris, and the government has banned fishing along an 80-kilometre stretch of coastline. Boats lie covered on the shore, and livelihoods are on the line.
The ship has dealt a death blow to our lives. We can't go to sea, which means we can't make a living.
The Singapore-flagged container vessel was carrying close to 1,500 containers, including 25 tonnes of nitric acid and several other chemicals. Sri Lankan officials believe the fire was caused by a nitric acid leak, which the crew had been aware of since May 11.
Similar incidents have taken place in other countries, and those governments have taken steps to get compensation. We hope to get compensation in accordance with local and international law. We will never give up on that effort. We will calculate the cost from the beginning of this incident.
Questions have now been raised about why the ship was allowed into Sri Lankan waters after being rejected by 2 other nations. A police complaint has been lodged against the captain, with a court order issued to prevent them, along with the chief engineer and an additional engineer, from leaving the country. Tanya Dendrinos, BBC News.
My gratitude, Janitu, for that interesting report on the Express Pearl shipwreck, which is the closest example of marine pollution happened in our country, Sri Lanka. And now I invite Pavani to explain about how marine life was affected due to this shipwreck.
Thank you, Abhisha. Now I'm going to explain how marine pollution affected marine animals. Most of the damages caused by this calamity affect the marine ecosystem bilaterally and indirectly. It also causes a lot of disturbances to marine life. Several similar incidents have been reported in the past. So one of the best examples for this is the oil spill that occurred when the Express Pearl shipwreck happened, causing in fire. We lost a large number of marine animals in vain due to marine pollution. According to the information received, about 200 creatures have died due to this incident. Among them, 176 turtles, 20 dolphins, and 4 whales have died. In addition, small-scale varieties also have died. This slide shows the activity before the pollution. That is how the animals lived before the ocean became polluted. The oceans contain the largest amount of valuable salts. Therefore, it helps all non-marine and living organisms to function well. Sunlight is also a key factor in the proper functioning of the ecosystem. In this picture, you can see how they roam freely in the environment. From this slide, we can get an idea about functionality after the pollution. That means how the marine animals functioning with this polluted environment. The accumulation of waste in the ocean makes it easier for animals to find food and eat that waste. Eating that contaminant can cause them to die or suffer from various ailments. You can see in here that they are depending on some waste. So this is how the marine pollution is affecting marine ecosystem. Thank you.
My sincere acknowledgement for you, Pavani, for the brief explanation you have given about the marine damage caused to marine animals from this Express Pearl shipwreck. But there are many people who have suffered a lot due to this shipwreck, and since we are talking about it, I will let Isuri to explain about how human life was affected due to this shipwreck.
I'm grateful to Vagisha for giving me this opportunity. So, I'm going to briefly explain about the environmental damage that has done to us by this incident. As Janita said, the ship was carrying 25 tons of nitric acid, 78 tons of plastic pellets, 270 tons of bunker fuel, and 1,025 debris, including sand. An estimated 3 billion pellets have spilled in water and clogging in the beaches near the Colombo harbour. These plastic pellets are also known as noodles that are used to make all plastic goods that had an immediate impact, as well as seen in dead fish that have washed up on the shore with the plastic pellet in their gills and mouth. The disaster caused a huge impact to both marine life and the people who depend on it. Fishing activity in an 80 kilometers long stretch has been banned, fearing contamination due to toxins and floating pellets in water. And also, the decision to suspend fish will put more pressure on the coastal community. As well as the plastic fibers are not biodegradable and become persistent environmental pollutants. Toxins like BPA are found in these plastic fibers. When the polymer chains of BPA breaks down and enter the human body through contaminated water or fish, it could be lead them to some fatal damage in the human body because of BPA can decrease the thyroid hormone receptor. Apart from these effects, as liver damage, nerve and brain damage, kidney diseases are some adverse health effects caused by plastic fibers. By considering all the impacts, we can conclude that the fish from the surrounding area where the express pearl incident took place could be dangerous for humans, not just for now, but for the years to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Isuri, for the information you have shared with us. Thus, the causes of the shipwreck for the human life was explained by her. Now, to give us the termination of our presentation, Sachira is on the line.
Thank you, Vagisha, for the opportunity. As mentioned above, the sea can get polluted in numerous ways. This process negatively affects our lives according to the laws of nature. Thus, to make sure that no such thing happens, it is our duty to keep the ocean bodies safe. When I say it's our duty, I don't mean about donating money solely. I also mean the ways which we can contribute to society in order to keep the water bodies beautiful. As a matter of fact, the very place we all are at, our home, is a great place to initiate our duty. First and foremost thing we can do is to minimize the polluted water usage. The water can be directed to the ocean by natural paths, which leads them to getting accumulated. Secondly, we all know how much damage pollutants can do. The best way to reduce it is to pull up the filtering processes of water. Next on the line is waste materials, side to side with pollutants. These two can pretty much destroy an entire river within a matter of weeks. Speaking of homes, the city in its own perspective is another point to contribute to the oceans. The city can sometimes be very messed up due to busy atmosphere. One thing we can do is to reduce plastic bag usage or recycle them. Also, after a trip to the store, it would be wise to walk your way back instead of driving 100-meter distance to the place where you stay. While we are limited to our land areas, fishermen and foreigners are not, since they frequently get in contact with the sea. So in that aspect, it would be wise to choose a boat which we can contribute to which we can function better with a low amount of fuels, reducing the overall energy consumption. When speaking about boats, we should be careful not to boat in areas with endangered species, or else they could be in a greater danger due to motor blades and waste material thrown to the ocean. And last but not least, the very known mistake made by the Express Pearl crew was to ignore the faults of their ships and boats. So we should learn from this incident and take measures to fix or minimize the impact of any fault. While these are done in minor scales, there are some organizations that take this to the global scale. Some charities of such themes are Environmental Defense Fund, Oceana, Surfside Foundation, Parley for the Ocean, and Team Seas. And now we can take this sample video of an organization contributing to the ocean cleanup and expecting a better result than what we currently have.
Ocean Decade Challenge number 1. Understand and beat marine pollution. How do we move from the ocean we have to the ocean we want? Today, we see plastic waste everywhere, from the ocean depths to the remotest islands of the Pacific. Yet the ocean is also menaced by pollution we cannot see. Untreated sewage, pesticides and fertilizers, toxic chemicals, heavy metals, and other harmful substances. They're not just a threat to marine life, but also to human health and livelihoods. The Ocean Decade is an opportunity to identify, map, and reduce these sources of pollution. Working hand in hand, scientists, businesses, governments, and many other groups can create and roll out solutions that eliminate pollution at the source, reduce its impacts, and deliver a clean ocean for us all. And as consumers, we all have an important role to play over the next 10 years to beat marine pollution. In the ocean we want, we embrace habits of buying and consuming that help keep our ocean clean and healthy. Are you up to meeting this Ocean Decade Challenge? Join us today.
Along with the sample, it is clear how the organizations plan to do their task within a limited period of time. Thank you.
Well done, Sachira. With all of that being, we have come to the epilogue. It's been an amazing time to give you out even the tiniest bit of details of marine pollution. And we all hope that you acknowledged yourselves about the later side effects of dumping waste into the ocean bodies. As for the final fact, I would like to thank all my fellow partners behind the scenes, including Mahen Sanket, Isira Direx, Sachira Vehan, Janitu Anuje, Isuri Navisha, Pavani Emisha, Januti Tusanga, and Savani Anuttara. Thank you everyone for watching. I'm Vagisha Satsarani and have a nice day.
Right, okay. So thank you very much. So please stop there. Right, okay. So we're moving to the question session. Now, dear students, you have done a good job. So actually it is great. So then we are going to ask questions from you. First of all, this is your Viva session. So then team members, so please answer your questions very soon. Don't give descriptive answers. Just try to give your answers using just like 1 or 2 sentences. We're just checking your knowledge on this topic as you have studied a part related to this, right? Okay, so our examiners, they are ready to ask questions. So they have watched your session and then they'll reveal your marks at the end of the session. Is Chitara, shall we ask? Yes?
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir. Good morning, kids. So, as we all know that by many ways, the ocean bodies get polluted and damaged the marine species widely. You all been talking about 4 major ways of marine pollutions like electrification, acidification, toxics, and plastics. So, these cause a huge damage for the growth of underwater species. So, my question is, what area of the ocean is mostly suffering from this habitat destruction? So it's a general question. So what area of the ocean is mostly damaged or suffering by the habitat destructions? It's like, is it like the sea floor area or the deep sea or the coastal areas? Can you explain the answer?
Right, a very good answer, very good question. So then our students, you can just switch on the camera and the mic and you can answer it. Yes. Or it is okay to switch just on your mic, right? Yes, is it right? You're going to answer, right? Okay,
yes, sir. Good morning, everybody. So my answer is that mostly the plastics, toxins, and everything are released to the ocean from the beach and from the factories near to the beach. So mostly these things accumulated firstly in the shallow ocean bed, and then due to the waves and everything, they are gone to the deep sea and separated and they were distributed. So my answer is mostly they are in the shallow ocean bed.
Yes, Chitara.
Yes, your answer is correct. Most areas of the world's oceans are experiencing by habitat loss, but the coastal areas, with their closeness to the human pollution centers, have suffered the disproportion. and mainly from human activities such as like agriculture and industrial development, and people are coming to the coastal areas for beach, and because of those reasons the most of the like the shallow and the coastal areas mostly get damaged. Your answer is probably correct.
Okay, very good. Shavinda, you're going to ask the next question.
Yes, sir. Good morning, all. So, hello, science nerds. So, first, my question is, so it's a bit related to the Express Pearl incident. So, this is a bit of creative. So, you can give your opinions to build up an answer for this. So, let's see how we will tackle the question. So now this Express Pearl incident became a widely spoken topic during the last few months as a result of the massive destruction it caused to the ocean. So what steps would you take if you were a responsible person for this incident? So just make your creative ideas and point them out here. I'd like a bit of explanation too.
Is it clear the question? Yes, dear students. Yes, Janito, you can answer. Shavinda, can you summarize the question again?
Sure, sir. Summarizing the question, what steps would you take if you were a responsible person for the Express Pearl incident? I would like only some creative ideas of yours. Thank you.
So we'll be giving a very low response time. So then please give your answers as soon as possible. Otherwise, we have to move to the next question. And in the Viva part, you will be deducting your marks for your presentation. Yes, anyone is trying to give answers?
Yes, actually, the ship's crew is the ship's crew recklessness of the ship's crew recklessness is the most close thing to do this shipwreck. I think before they know about this 11th of May. I think the ship's captains really want to be responsible for this incident because they not get a risk of that thing. Then as as we can do we can handle this when we know the ship's this, chemical in the disaster, we can handle before they know in 11th of May. We want to be aware of this disaster because they know from the 11th of May.
Yeah. It is clear. So then, Shavinda, is it the idea?
Yeah, he was just explaining a simple point all around. So, sir, do you mind if I could give an answer for that too?
Yeah. So then give your opinion. I mean, give your answer to the students.
First of all, if I were a responsible person, I would definitely inform the authorities that are also responsible for this incident. Like, I can't do something all alone, so I have to get help of all the other things. And also, I would like to ask them to take suitable measurements. First of all, they have to inform the government and all the other organizations that are responsible for this incident and all, and take suitable measurements because this is a chaotic incident, no? So, and also we have to calculate the destruction that it will cause and minimize it. Now, they say that they have known that they were like, they knew that there was going to be an incident going to happen in a few days before it happened, like on the 11th of May. So why didn't they take the related steps now? There were several incidents, as you all mentioned in the presentation, that have taken place in the past. So there are experiences. So why didn't they get some knowledge from those experiences and try to minimize rather than causing a great massive destruction to the ocean beds and all. So yeah, and also I would like some more creative ideas from y'all. Like, it's not like y'all can make it, but still I would prefer some of y'all can give more creative ideas than that. Thank you.
Right, okay. So we are going to the final question, final Viva question. Manuli, you're going to ask a question from our students, right?
Good morning, everyone. As we are all aware of the fact that the Express Pearl disaster has caused a severe damage to the Sri Lanka's pristine beaches and to the human and marine lives. So my question to Team 2 is a hypothetical question. Imagine if you were one of the fishermen who is a victim to this dreadful disaster. How would you overcome this situation in order to restore your livelihood?
Right, okay. The question is clear. Yes, the others students, you can give your answers, your opinion. Yes, yeah. Yes. So please respond to the question very soon. Right, okay. Manuli, can you ask the question again once?
Yes, sir. So my question is, imagine if you were one of the fishermen who is a victim to this dreadful disaster. How would you overcome this situation in order to restore your livelihood?
Right, okay. That's also related to this marine pollution. It's a hazardous condition in the marine pollution to the people, right? So then from that side, they ask me the question. Okay, yes, students, you can give a creative answer. So we'll give only 30 seconds, right? So we don't need the exact answer. They're asking the idea about this. Okay. How you overcome. So as a team, you should have a collective idea, or one of the team members can give the answers. Yes. Pavani, the other students, Janitu. Yes. So please give answers. You give only 10 seconds, right?
So, hi, sir. I would like to answer that question.
Yeah, very good.
If I was a fisherman, as a fisherman, there's no any career to do. Either he have to move to another area in country, area which better for fishing, or he have to give up his career and choose another one. Right?
So what is the
as
final
fisherman,
option? Can you summarize your answer? Yes.
I mean, he can move to another area, another coastal area that has not affected from his express thing.
Right. So that is the idea of Ravija. So then only you can comment on your answer and you can summarize your points. Yes.
Thank you, Ravija. That was a really satisfactory answer, as the fisherman can move to some other place in order to restore his livelihood.
Right. Yes, Manli?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that is correct. Right. Okay. So we are moving to the marks marking part. Okay. So then we are going to reveal your final marks. I think Chitara, you are ready to reveal your final marks with pros and cons. Yes.
Yes, sir. So for the creativity, organization, and teamwork, I'll be giving 4 marks, and I'm deducting 1 mark just because it's better if you could number the pages, number the slides. And for the accuracy and content, I'll be giving 2 marks, and presentation skills and overall finish, I'll be giving 2 marks because some presenting skills are not up to the level that as I expected. And for the Viva question, I'll be giving 5 marks because for the 3 questions, 3 different people were answering the questions, and it's really good. And active participation for answering question is really good and amazing. And for the pros and cons, the plus point is it's clear when Bhagisha is giving the plot before the other kid is explaining, and it's better for us to understand what's going on in the next slide, and it's easy for us to get an idea. And slides were very clear and creative, and it's a plus point of extracting videos of global news to show the impact and severity of this problem. And also for taking the references were included at the end was really good, like plotting the websites of the pages that you have extracted the information. And for the minus points, the slides were attractive, but it's better if you could number the pages, as I said before. Presenting skills are not up to that level. As I said before, comparing with the previous team, in my opinion, it's not up to the level that I expected. And also, it's better to hype up the introduction and the conclusion. It's better if you could give some more energy to show your ideas and explanations on sides. And individually, as I take Savani, Isira, Vakisha, Rajiva, Janitu, and Sachira, they were good, clear speaking. And Pavani, good, but it's better if you could speak by toning up the volume of your voice for highlighting the points. So it's a good job done on your presentation, and I will always wish you the best of luck for your futures. Thank you.
Right, okay. So then, Chidara, what is your final mark? I think it's so then she revealed the marks, final marks. Chitara, are you there?
Yes, sir, 13.
13, yes, 13 out of 20. Yes, now Shavinda, you will reveal your marks.
Okay, yes, thank you. So team 2, science nerds. So this is how I awarded you marks for creativity, organization, and teamwork. I've awarded you 4 marks out of 5. Accuracy and content, it was 2 marks. Presentation skills and overall finishing, 3 marks. And the Viva section, you got 4 marks out of 5. So that was good. Now, commenting on your presentation, first I'll say the positive outcomes I saw on your presentation. You have highlighted the important points in the slides. I saw them. And a positive outcome was for explaining the methods how to reduce the plastics from the ocean beds and so on. And also it was great that you mentioned that this incident should be taken as an example to prevent the further chaos of such an incident. And also the final message that you all gave during the presentation was great, like we have to protect the ocean. So I welcome you all to go along your points and support to protect the oceans. And the minus points that you all earned during the presentation was first, on Vagisha, at the beginning, you have to consider more about the background when you're doing a presentation. Due to the effect from the light, we could not see your face clearly. So that was, but finally you have managed to make it more clear. So that was good. Like you have to adapt to the situation and you have to manage the issue. So that was good. But now, before starting a presentation, just be considerate on your background and all, okay? Then there were some technical issues. Now this is an online presentation, so we cannot prevent all those stuff. So, but it's okay. There were some technical issues. Now try to minimize them in the future. And now this, because you are the second group, now most of our comments are based on the comparison between the first group and your group, okay? So I saw that you guys you are reading it like fast as you can, like you are reading an urge to stop this after finishing reading, okay? So that is not a good way to do a presentation. Now during a presentation, you have to manage your voice. Like sometimes you have to go, you have to highlight the points with a bit of like increasing the volume of your voice. There should be like options to highlight what you are saying, okay? And now there can be short breaks between words to show that it's not like flowing, that did not give you a good interpretation on the presentation. So, and also maintaining eye contact, that is very needed during the presentation. Like you can't go look at the screen or look at something else. You'll have to maintain eye contact. Now, this is an online presentation, so it's better to look at the camera for at least several times, other than looking at the paper or the slide you are reading. And at last I saw on Bagisha's screen, as I remember, like you paid some attention to the surrounding disturbances. Either like when you're doing a presentation, you have to minimize the outside disturbances, or you have to pay attention to what you are doing, and otherwise it will be a great, it will interrupt your presentation, and you know, that will cause you lacking some points, okay? So I'm just saying that you can minimize those stuff, or if you can't, just try to concentrate on what you are doing and like make it more effective if you did not go on listening to those other sidewise objects and those stuff, okay? That's also my final mark is a 13 out of 20. You all have done a great job, and okay, thank you. And finally, I would like to say protect the oceans.
Right,
Thank
okay.
you.
Thank you very much, Shavinda, for your valuable ideas and comments about our students' performance and then your final marks. So Manoli, you're going to summarize your marks, right? Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Right.
So in terms of creativity, organization, and teamwork, you get 4 marks. The presentation looks really neat, and the content could be reduced a bit in the slides, and all the members had a good coordination. In terms of accuracy and content, you get 4 marks as well. The presentation was really clear about the main content. In terms of presentation skills and overall finish, you get 3 marks. I was an informative animated video using your own audio rather than extracting them from YouTube videos or any such sources, as this would enhance your creative skills and would also definitely, and in my point of view, some of and presenting. This would have drawn more attention and listeners' interest. Try to be more expressive while stating your points. And in the Viva round, as you were all very precise and on point, which is a good quality while answering to the questions. So my overall marks would be 1 minute. It's 15. So wish you good luck for the future.
Right, okay. Thank you. So we're going to finalize your marks. So we received the marks from our examiners. So then, as I'm explaining finally my idea, so you have done a great job, but our examiners, they are comparing every team, team 1, team 2, team 3, and team 4. So then as your final performance, the final marks for you is 15 plus 13 plus 13, and then we are dividing it by 3. So that is 13.6, that is 14. Yes, you get 14 marks out of 20, right? For your performance, the overall marks is 14 out of 20. So then really good. You have done a good job as a team. So then you have managed the disasters that you have faced in this series. However, I think you have collected a good memory and unforgettable experience in your school life related to a presentation, and you will develop your skills in university levels. And then wishing you all the very best. So now we are going to get team 3. So then we are going to wrap up the session for team 2. Thank you very much. So if you have any idea about your performance, you can give a certain idea. Yes, team 2 leader, you can give a comment on your presentation and then this final session.
Yes, I want to take this moment to thank my team members. Actually, they helped me as much as they can. And I would like to show my appreciation to Mahen and Januti, who did a great role behind the screen. And finally, I would like to thank you, sir, for giving us this great opportunity. Thank you.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much. Have a nice day, dear students. So then we'll meet in schools after this vacation. Right. Okay. Have a nice day.